today's Scrap Your Scraps video. So every Sunday I'm posting a video where I use my scraps and I show you a different way to use them. So this is my scrap bin, and it's a bin of all my scraps. Whenever I get a scrap from a piece of paper or something, I just throw it in here, and then I try to make projects from these scraps. So today I'm going to be using this pink piece of cardstock, this circle punch, and I know somebody's going to ask, so let me just figure out here. It is about 1.5 inches, okay? So if you're wondering what size the circle is, and it's a Fisker's circle punch. And so what I'm going to do for today is I'm just going to punch out a bunch of circles using this 1.5 inch punch, and I'm going to use this to make my project. So the number of circles you need really depends on how high up you want to come on the page, but my plan is to take a whole bunch of circles and layer them up on top of the page like this, using my circle punch and my scraps. So I'm just going to punch out a whole bunch of those, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've punched out all my circles, and I also adhered them down, and I just stuck them down with my hot glue gun, and I just started at the bottom or the side and just started layering all of them on. Now I decided to go 6 inches up the page, so I just measured with my ruler and then drew a line across, and then that's where I layered the circles on top. And you can go whatever distance you like. Personally, I think it works really well to go in a number divisible by 12. So the paper is 12 by 12. So if you go 6, 4, 3, or 2, I think it'll look really nice on your page. And I really wanted it to be a big statement, so that's why I went to 6 inches, so half the page. That way it takes up a full half. And I just use my hot glue gun, so I have a couple of those like spider webs that happen, and what you can do is just rub your fingers over top of them, just like this, and it will get rid of them. Another tip is, if you don't want to do that, or if you have a lot and they're not going away, is grab a heat gun and just blow it, and they'll all fly away because the heat will get rid of the glue. So I'm really happy with how this looks, and I'm going to make my page today using this photo. And it's a photo of myself from a garden tea party that we held at the church, and I organized the tea party, and I really wanted to scrapbook this because it's sort of a meaningful moment for me. And I'm going to scrapbook this photo. I think I'm going to put it to the side here. I might do the page like in a different orientation. I haven't figured out yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on speed up so that you guys can see this. And I really want to encourage you guys to pull out your scraps and maybe do a really fun quilted kind of layered design like this, because it can be really fun. And if you don't have a circle punch, you have a different shape, go ahead and use that. You could use it with scallops or squares or triangles or diamonds, flowers or hearts, whatever you have. And if you don't even have any punches, you could cut them out with a die cut machine, or you could trace them and cut them out that way. It would take a little longer that way, but I think it's totally worth it because it looks so beautiful when it's all done. And I'm really excited to scrapbook this, so I'm going to put you guys up on speed up, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay, so let's get going. I was trying to decide which way to go with the page, and in the end I kept it the way it was, and I'm gonna just layer underneath it and embellish and show you how I do the journaling, and really hopefully give you some tips about how to use busy backgrounds like this. Now before I get into this, I just wanted to say something about this series. I love playing with my scraps, and before December Daily, a long time ago, I was doing this series, but I felt a lot of pressure. Like, I'm going to be honest. I felt so much pressure to get a video up every single Sunday and to make every video different and unique and give you a new idea or a new tip. And it's totally self-imposed pressure. But I think the pressure came because so many people really enjoyed the series and were like inspired by it and doing pages based on it. And so then I had all this pressure that I put on myself. But then what sort of happened was I didn't enjoy it anymore. And because there was a pressure that came along with these pages, then I wasn't making them anymore because of the pressure. And so I've decided to give myself more freedom because I want to play with my scraps, but I don't want to feel the pressure of like feeling like I have to make something really amazing or incredible or teach you something new or do a whole new technique. I just want to play with my scraps. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I decided not to do scrap your scrap videos anymore and how I've come back to it. So I've come back to it by removing all that pressure from myself and saying, you know what, Tori, just go with it. So is this page sort of similar to the layout I did last week? Yes, it is, but you know what? I don't care. I'm using a different punch today. I embellish it differently. It's a different layout and it's going to go in a different album even than the other one. So I'm taking the pressure off, and I hope that that's okay with you guys, that it's not going to be as intense as the last time I did this series. But I hope you guys still enjoy it and that you'll be inspired. And I just wanted to remind you that if you make a layout based on something I've done, I would love to see it. You can leave a link below, or you can use the hashtag #ScrapYourScraps on Instagram or Facebook, and I will come find it. And I really can't wait to see what you guys create. And I hope that you guys are enjoying this series and that you'll check back next Sunday for another Scrap Your Scraps video. So I'm using a couple different things for this layout. I'm using the January Felicity Jane kit it's called Susie, and I'm also using some things from my stash as well as some papers from Dear Lizzie. So what I did to start was I mounted my photo on some white tissue paper that had like little sparkles in it. And then I mounted it on top of two 4x4 papers from a Dear Lizzie cut apart. And then I grabbed a doily, cut it in half almost. Or I grabbed two doilies, cut them up a little bit, and stuck those underneath the photo. And then I added my title, and I wanted my title to be Follow Your Heart. And the Felicity Jane kit came with this wood veneer that's Follow Your, and then it came with these white puppy letters from 7 paper, and I spelled out the word heart there. And then I felt like it just needed a little something extra. So there was this border strip on one of the Felicity Jane papers, and it had a scallop on it. So I fussy cut around it, and I was going to add it to the top, but instead I decided to add it to the bottom. Just wanted to bring a little bit of a definition to one edge of the paper, and I stuck that down at the bottom with my hot glue gun. And then I wanted to put a place where I could add the date of this event. So I grabbed this circle. It's a label sticker, and I just trimmed it out, and I'm going to stick that at the bottom of the page. And then I also had this felt circle from the from Freckled Fawn, and I felt like it would be appropriate to use circles on this page because the background has circles. And those elements are just little ones. They don't necessarily add very much other than like just keeping that consistent theme kind of going on. And then I felt like the page needed a little bit more black to be brought up to the photo because the black was drawing your attention down. So I grabbed another label sticker that said Dream Big, and I added it just underneath the photo. And then I wanted to create a third point of black so that there would be a visual triangle. And so what I did was I am going through my stash to see what other black items I have. And I thought maybe I'd use a flare or a resin flower, but I didn't have any black ones. And then I was just going through some other items, and I found this little tiny black person. I know people call them potty people, but I hate that title. I hate that word. So I just grabbed one of those little ladies and just stuck it up by the follow your heart. And then there's like a visual triangle, and it draws your attention into the photo. I went through the resin flowers and grabbed 3 little white ones, and I'm going to add those to each of the cluster areas. So one by the little person, one by the circle felt heart, and one by the bottom label where I'm going to add the date. And then I also thought I might grab some flair. So I had these flares. I think they come from the Feed Your Craft Etsy shop. And I just grabbed those, and I grabbed 2 of them. And I'm going to add one down to the bottom cluster and then one up by the heart. And again, I'm just bringing that circle element into the page as well. And then to finish off the page, I'm just going to add some enamel dots and then my journaling. So I just grabbed some enamel dots from Dear Lizzie. I love these enamel dots. This is like my 4th pack of these enamel dots. They're my favorite. I just love the colors. So I grabbed those and I stuck them on the page. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. He wants to play. I just need to finish doing the voiceover and then I'm going to play with him, but he wants to play. So I grabbed those, and then what I'm going to do is I'm adding my journaling, and I'm just grabbing a pen that was the right size, and I'm trying to decide how to do my journaling. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to get him to stop jumping on me. So then I thought about using a stamp, and I do stamp it on some paper, and I completely forgot about it, so it never actually makes it onto the page. But you know, that's how some things happen. Here I grabbed out another piece of scrap paper. So here's a great way to use your scraps too, is if you have scrap white paper, keep it and use it for journaling lines and for stamping images. So I'm definitely using this scrap piece of paper, which I had used for my, I think, coffee cup album. That shape there is for a coffee cup. And I'm going to cut a whole bunch of strips of paper using this scrap, and then I'm going to do my journaling on there and glue it down. And I really like this idea. I think it's a fun way to add journaling because then you can move it around, and if you're not sure how much journaling you are going to have, then you can do it first and then practice it out. So I wasn't sure how much journaling I was going to have, so I figured this would be a good way to use it on the page. So I hand wrote all my journaling on those strips, and then I'm going to layer them and figure out where I want to put them on the layout. If I redid this layout, I probably would have left more space for journaling just because I ended up having a lot to say about this. And the reason I had a lot to say was this photo sort of represents something really important to me. I was in Bolivia 2 years ago. I was also there in November, but about a year and a half ago or whatever, I was in Bolivia with my friend Deb, and we had this great idea that we wanted to run women's events at our church that would bring ladies of all ages together, because in Bolivia we noticed that the program we were working with had programs for young ladies, old ladies, ladies in their middle age, and they all would come together and do these programs together, and we just thought it was so cool. Because sometimes what happens in North America is like we separate people. You've got all the elderly people over here. You have all of the young moms in this group over here. You have all of the moms with older kids over here. And then you have all the single ladies over here. And then you have all the college and career ladies over there. And they don't really hang out. Or just, I found at church they don't. So we wanted to hold women's events, which would bring ladies of all different ages together. And so we had this vision in Bolivia, and it was just something we really wanted to do. So when we got back, we started making it happen. We gathered a committee made up of like people of different ages together so that we could all share our ideas, and said, we want to hold events that bring ladies of different ages together. Will you help? And we got a whole bunch of people who said yes. And so we decided our first event would be a garden tea party. And then about 6 months after we returned from Bolivia, we held our first event, which was this garden tea party. And it was honestly so exciting to see this vision and dream that we had come up with in November come to fruition in April. And it just felt like so exciting to see this actually happen. And there were ladies of all different ages there, and they talked, and we played games, like fun get to know you games, and people got to know each other. And it was just so exciting to gather all those ladies together. So I just wanted to journal about how we followed our heart and how it really worked out well. And I'm honestly done the page. I'm just going to finish it off with just some gold Heidi Swap Color Shine, which I didn't mix up well enough the first time. So I'm going to mix it up again and add some more. And that's it. The page is done. Thanks everyone for joining me for today's Scrap Your Scraps video. Check back next Sunday for another video. See you guys then. Bye!